On today's episode here on the Project Bedrock server, we get started building our very first shop. We build a overpowered witch farm to get a ton of materials to sell at our new shop, along with a Nether Fortress farm in order to harvest a ton of wither skeleton skulls. What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another episode here on the Project Bedrock server. In today's episode, we are flying over here to the marketplace way up inside of the sky because we have some business that we need to attend to over here. And that is going to be securing a steady income of diamonds. And the way that we're going to do that, of course, is going to be starting a shop of our own. I am going to be selling something that I have never sold before, and I'm unsure how it's going to work out. However, I think that there is a few different things that we can do in order to make sure that we secure ourselves. As you can see here, I have a ton of shulker boxes, and I have been gathering a ton of material off of camera. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of my material ready, and then we'll jump into a time lapse. Let's go! And just like that, we now have our very own shop here in the marketplace district. So I really wanted to incorporate the red and black into this thing, and I think that I've done a fairly good job with it because this is going to be mainly a redstone shop, and I think in the future it will be primarily only a redstone shop. However, for now, since I'm only going to have one shop for the time being, I'm going to sell quite a few things inside of here and see how that pans out. That way we can get all of our items from all of our farms to all of our members on the server. And if we fly up here and take a look, you can see that I tried to take some of that detail and bring it around to the very back of the build as well. That way the back of the build wasn't just a flat wall. If we land up here on the roof, you'll see that we have a two-tier roof up here. And I tried to basically make it to where it was holding the redstone block and all chained into place, almost like the shop cannot contain the power of the redstone. So if we go down here, down to the door, you'll see that we have my 3x3 piston door here. And it opens up, and that will let us into the shop. Now, I didn't want to just do a shop in here. I wanted to kind of do a redstone funhouse, which if you come out here, it says welcome to the redstone funhouse. And the reason why I did that is because I don't think there's a ton of people that do a whole lot of redstone on the server, me and maybe a few other members. And what I wanted to do is basically take and have a bunch of different redstone contraptions in here to where they can kind of look down here and get their creative juices flowing. We have everything labeled here, so we have a pulse extender. We can hit that button, and that's going to fire up a basic Trident Killer down here. Then we have a few different T flip-flops down here, a repeater-based T flip-flop that you can turn on and off, and also a dropper-based T flip-flop that we could turn on and off as well. And then we also have the Impulse SV sorting system here, so we can go ahead and take our leather and put it in there, and it basically just shows how a lot of this stuff works. And on top of that, we also have the shop to where you can buy a bunch of stuff. Over here, we also have a torch tower, and also we have basically a bubble column showing how the observers will actually react to it. And down here, we have a block swapper to where it will momentarily swap that block, changing the bubble column, and you can see that the observers pick up all of that. And then it will go all the way up that torch tower, activate that sticky piston, which is going to ring that bell. Just kind of a fun little thing to show all of the different things that you can do with redstone. Now, as you can see, this shop is far from done, and I've been doing a ton of stocking inside of here. And right now, I just don't have enough equipment to where I can fully stock this shop. So what I'm going to need to do next is going to be You guessed it, make a few more farms. We're going to build a couple farms and get a bunch of these supplies rolling in. That way we can get this shop up and running and have all of those diamonds coming in. So I have been doing a ton of stuff off of camera, and I have also been helping with some community projects off of camera, and mainly just resource gathering, doing all of the grindy bits. And one of the things that I have done, other than fly my face into the wall, is put in a ice road here, which makes transporting myself between my base and the industrial district a whole lot quicker and a whole lot more efficient. And I ended up making a bunch of blue ice and using it for this ice road instead of using the packed ice. However, I don't see much of a difference in speed. So if you saw last episode, you will know that I scouted out this witch hut over here, and this is where we're going to be building our next farm at. As you can see, it's a hop, skip, and jump away from the industrial district right there. It's still within render distance and is going to make the perfect location to build a witch farm. Now I do plan on eventually getting rid of this structure here and building an entire custom structure for this witch hut. However, today we're just going to focus on building the farm. I'm going to really focus on getting the farms done, that way we have the materials, and then I'm going to go back and do a lot of decoration and making them look a lot better. And one of the best parts about this witch hut here is there's not a whole lot of water within the vicinity, so I'm not really going to have to clear out a ton of it. First, we need to clear this entire thing out, and then we'll just line the entire inside with glass panes. That way we can see exactly where these witches are going to be spawning. We'll go ahead and seal it up where it's nice and dark. And it seems like we got some visitors inside of here. I was getting a little bit of light inside of that corner, and I ended up placing down a stone block, which made it totally dark inside of here. Anyways, we just need to go ahead and take all of these glass panes out of here. And we can go ahead and remove that stone block as well. And then we want to leave this guy encased. So inside of this corner, none of these were stairs or slabs, so it had to have been a glitched light block. That was rather strange. Anyways, we got our spawning block here. Let's go ahead and test it out. Go ahead and place a glass block there. Remove that temporary block. And then I'm going to fill in this wall and see if we get a witch down in here. And with any luck, we should have some witches down here. And I can see their feet. We have quite a few down there. So our spawning location is exactly where it should be. So let's get started building this Trident Killer. And just like that, we have a witch farm. If you ask me, it doesn't look too shabby. Now this structure I will probably eventually remove because I want to do a little bit of decorating and design work around here. However, I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'm trying to get all of these farms punched out. That way I have a ton of materials. That way I can really use a ton of different blocks and options for the pallets whenever I'm decorating and building stuff and making it look nice. However, this witch farm is my very own witch farm design. If you have not seen it on my channel and you're interested in checking it out, I will post the link down inside of the description. Now, this witch farm does originally send all of the experience up to the AFK location. However, on this one, I just decided to sacrifice the experience points because I really don't need them. I get plenty of experience from the other farms over there. So I just figured this one I'll just let the experience points ride, and then they can despawn down there. All I'm really interested in is the items that the witch drop. Speaking of experience points, you might notice that I have 2 levels. That is because, well, I tried to fly without my elytra. I have a really bad habit of forgetting that all of my stuff is put away inside of a chest. That way I don't die and lose it all. And then I jump out of my little trapdoor there and go splat. 10 out of 10, highly do not recommend doing that. So this witch farm will actually drop 4 different types of potions. I have the witch spawning block there, and if you can see it, there is a glass block directly above it, pushing all of the witches down into these water streams. These water streams will channel them into a 1 wide block area to where they will drop down into my Trident Killer. Now, all of the interesting bits happen down here inside of the Trident Killer. As you can see, we have a dispenser there, and the dispenser is not the only thing that's different about this, as if you look underneath here, we also have some magma blocks as well. These magma blocks are very important because whenever a witch lands on fire or magma blocks, then it's going to pull out a potion of fire resistance. And whenever the witch's head gets submerged in water, then it's going to pull out a potion of water breathing. Now, it's totally random whenever they do this. It really all depends what the witch does before it dies, and then it has a chance of dropping that potion. We will also get a potion of swiftness if the witch dies away from the player, and they will also drop a potion of healing if the witch is actively taking damage. If we go ahead and turn this Trident Killer on, you can see that that's going to constantly start dispensing and retracting the bucket of water, and that's going to give us the potion of water breathing. Now for right now, I just have a bunch of double chests for storage, and because these things drop so many non-stackable items, you really need a lot of storage. Now, the nice thing with this witch farm here is whenever you get enough potions and you don't need any more, you can take the water bucket out of this farm, and it's not going to drop any more potions of water breathing, and you can replace those magma blocks, and it will stop dropping the potions of fire resistance. The potion of swiftness and the potion of healing, unfortunately, you really can't do much about those other than shoot them into a disposal pit. However, that will cut the non-stackable items in half. So if we look inside of here, we have a ton of different potions along with all the stuff that we really need, like the sticks, redstone dust, glowstone powder, and all of the good stuff. We also got some witch heads over here, spider eyes, and a bunch of other goodies in here. So as you can see from a very short session of AFK, about probably 5 or 10 minutes, we got a ton of stuff already. So I'm going to pull out probably the vast majority of these potions and set them to the side. And then I'll probably extend them to the 8-minute version, and then I probably won't really need to make any more potions for a while. And it seems that we got quite a bit of witches in there, so let's go ahead and see this thing in action. And just like that, they are all gone. Of course, I don't have Impelling 5 Trident for this yet. Whenever I put that in there, it will kill them a lot faster. However, for now, that's going to take care of business and do it really efficiently. Alright, I got my area all cleaned up here, so let's head on over here to the island and I'll show you what we're going to be working on next. You know, second thought, I'm going to grab a few of these. So I'm just finishing up climbing here, and we are actually directly above the nether portal for my industrial district. We really lucked out because whenever we picked the location, inside of the nether, we have this huge nether fortress right above where my industrial district portal is, directly below us. So I've already been here and put up a bunch of ladders. However, I haven't really done a whole lot more other than that. I think this is also where the blaze farm was built as well. Yeah, it looks like my blaze farm is just right over there. So it's really not far from the blaze farm, so it's really convenient too. So I kind of wanted to survey this area and find a piece of this that's sticking out over top of the lava lake, if possible. That way we don't really have to do a ton of spawn proofing. However, it doesn't really look like it's going to be that plausible of a thing to do. I mean, we got this area over here, but these blazes are relentless. Yeah, so I think I'm going to use this area here. It's the tallest piece of the nether fortress here. As long as the spawning locations pan out pretty good, which I only need 1 or 2 of them, it should work just fine. And it's got a pretty tall ceiling. So I should be able to make an AFK chamber quite a ways up there and get away from most all of these mobs and unload all of these other spawning areas. So I think this should work out. Let me go ahead and grab some nether brick, extend this out a little ways, and then we'll get the building. Alright, the very first thing I want to do is go ahead and extend this thing out some. And I think I'll block off the stairway as well, just so they don't come up here. I don't know how much good it'll do, but I'm just going to run some torches down here. Maybe it'll stop some of them spawning. And I think the next smart thing to do would probably be just to throw up some quick walls. That way we're not constantly being ambushed while we're doing this. Case in point. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It looks like my 2012 cobblestone house. Alright, hopefully that'll give us a little bit of peace and quiet while we focus on the next step. So what I've done here is marked out all of the spawning locations that I need. This one over here I'm pretty sure is just a random spawn for a skeleton. The way this works is that we have our fortress spawns, which are going to be these inside of a kind of a pattern, a grid-like pattern. And then we'll have other things that we'll be able to spawn here due to light levels, and it's really going to be dependent on the biome that we're in. However, the ones that I'm interested in are going to be these 3 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And these are going to be where wither skeletons spawn. Now, of course, there's going to be more areas where the wither skeletons will spawn. However, I'm only going to be focusing on 3 of them because that's going to give me really decent rates and probably give me more than I need anyways. The rest of it, I'm going to just go over the entire area with slabs. That way nothing else can spawn here. And I got just about everything slabbed up, and that's going to stop all of the spawning aside from the spawning that's going to occur on these 3 blocks that I have marked out here. The reason why it is a 2x2 is because the mobs are going to spawn to the northwest corner of a block, and as you can see, they are trapped inside of those glass panes, if you can see the glass panes, and they are on the very corner, which is the northwest corner of a block. Because they spawn inside of the northwest corner, they have to have these 3 blocks open, or else it's going to cancel out the spawn as well, which will work out perfectly because once we put a piece of glass directly above this block here, it's going to shove them down into the Trident Killer, just like it does with our witch farm. So now that all of this is marked out, I'm going to get started building this, do a quick jump cut, and I'll see you when it's done. Alright, so a quick update real fast. I have the pistons in, and then I have the sticky pistons up top here with the observers in. I do still have to finish up the redstone down below, but this is what I have so far. Now these sticky pistons are here for a pusher. That way if there's any kind of blaze or anything that gets stuck inside of here, it'll push them and then cause them to fall down inside of the killing chamber. However, whenever I use this on my Nether Fortress farm, I used it on a Trident Killer that was a generic style, and it spun a lot slower than the one that I have designed down here. So we're going to have to see if this thing moves too quickly or not. But I'm thinking instead of having 3 separate clocks, I'll just have 1 clock that's going to run it over here, and then I'll just have these 2 slaves which will run off of the clock on this one here. The nice thing is that we have this Nether Fortress down here that we could kind of tear apart and utilize as kind of a platform underneath. That way we can get to all of the lower redstone on all of our Trident Killers. You guys keep it up, y'all are going to be my next farm. Well, I'm just about ready to start working on the underside of these things. What I have been busy doing is down here, I've made a complete room. That way I'm completely shielded from all these ghast and blaze and everything else that wants to kill me inside of here. And I have easy access to the very bottom of these as well. Now the top roof is lower slabs, so nothing's going to spawn on the roof. This down here is not slabs, so you could place down a normal block and see that. However, I am going to slab all of this once I'm done with it. That way I don't have any spawns inside of the room as well. So I got all of the redstone in for the very first Trident Killer, and what I'm going to end up doing is using this one as a master instead of the one down there. That way the switch is kind of closer to the middle here. And basically what that's going to allow me to do is only have 1 clock in the circuit here and 1 lever to control it. So what I'm going to do is use this, and then I'm going to send a signal from this one to this one over here, and then make sure that it is timed inside of the correct rotation. And then it's going to activate all of these pistons at the same time. Then I'm just going to make a jumper going from here and do the same thing to where it's going to activate all of these at the same time as well. So now both of these are connected together. So if we look under here, this one's going like it should, and then this one is as well. However, the third one, since these two are so close together, I'm not going to be able to connect it without it interfering with it, which isn't too big of a deal. I just need to drop down this third Trident Killer a couple of blocks. And just like that, we have all 3 of them installed. This one here is the master, and then I send the signal over, which is going to be rotating this Trident Killer, and then also rotating this Trident Killer here as well. So now all we need to do is to put in the item collection system on the bottom. So a floor, a hopper minecart, the hopper, all running into a chest, and again this will all eventually have sorting systems on it as well. And with 1 more jump cut, we have all of the collection systems in, where all of these are funneling down into the double chest here. We also have a massive ball of garbage down here, and that's basically all of the junk, non-stackable stuff that's coming out of the farm. All of that is eventually going to be pitched over the edge down into the lava and be destroyed, and then we'll have all of the other stuff sorted out by all of the item sorters. That's going to be a task on stream, so if you're interested in seeing that, then go over to twitch.tv/rsbuilt and follow me over there. That way you can catch all of these streams for that. However, I did do a short AFK session, and I got some stuff inside of here. As you can see, I've cleaned out a lot of it, and we have quite a bit of charcoal, some bones in here, and then I also got 10 wither skeleton skulls. And then we also have some chests over here for additional storage, just to store a lot of the stuff that we don't need right now, but we will need in the future. And that is just a ton of handy stuff that this farm produces. Now with this last AFK session, I did put out 10 wither skulls, and it wasn't a very long AFK session. However, I have AFK'd at this before. I've been doing a ton of off-camera AFKing and a ton of off-camera work because, as I've mentioned previously in this episode, that I have been really sick, coughing a lot, and have lost my voice, which really doesn't make the best for recording videos. So I've been doing what I can off of camera. And a lot of that has been doing a grind, getting the shop all set up, and that includes killing a bunch of withers. That way we can start selling the beacons. So up top here, I went ahead and added a bunch of cacti, and it's pretty unorthodox and probably not the best way to deal with it. However, it is going to be a temporary fix for now. This will probably be a project for a stream on a later date. However, for now, this will work and at least takes care of the giant magma cubes. What was happening is they would spawn in here and then they get stuck in this 2x2 center of glass here, and they really can't move and they can't fall down. And when that happens, it holds the mob cap open and pretty much slashes the rates of the farms. So I put these cacti in here, and they really do a good job of breaking down the magma cubes and making them into the smaller magma cubes so they can fall down and be processed by the Trident Killers. So I went ahead and grabbed the 10 wither skeleton skulls, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some soul sand as well. That way we can go ahead and spawn a few withers. I'm going to bring you over to the end and show you exactly how we're dealing with these guys. And basically where we bring all of our withers to kill them and get all of our nether stars is right here inside of the end. We basically use this to cheese the withers, and we're going to be summoning them underneath this end portal frame here that consists of bedrock. The bedrock cannot be broken by the wither, and the way that we're doing it is putting him so high up in it that he cannot really break the obsidian or anything else either. Now this entire thing was constructed by Gigi, so she did a ton of work on this. However, I believe she said that the design was by JC Plays. So if you are interested in this, you should check out JC Plays and find the tutorial on this. So basically we have a platform under here, and we will take our soul sand and we'll start it right here. You always want to start placing it right here and then build it out by one to the left, one to the right, and then we will do a wither skeleton here, and then one in the center. Before I do that, let's go down here, and we also have a wither rose farm down here. And this one I ended up helping her kind of redesign and make it faster, because the original one took a little bit to unload all of the eggs inside of here. So we basically made a really fast clock that is dispensing 2 different dispensers at the same time. And then inside of this one there is a dispenser that dispenses splash potion of poison, just to help the chickens die from the wither a little bit easier. I ended up putting the rail in there because obviously once you have all of these chickens in here, you do not want the dispenser to dispense a shulker box inside of there. And then once all of the chickens die from the wither, they will turn into wither roses and be collected inside of this chest here. Very, very simple and easy, straightforward wither rose farm here, utilizing the wither that's directly on top. So with this design here, I ended up taking a creative copy into a testing world because I wanted to see if there was ways that I could kill multiple withers at the same time. Now if we go ahead and spawn this wither in, he's going to spawn in and he's going to start taking suffocation damage from being inside of the bedrock. Now in all of the other wither killers that I have used before, it was always a big no-no not to hit the wither because it can make them escape. However, with this one, it does not seem to mind. We could just sit here and wail on these guys and just make them die a whole lot faster. Now, I did mention that I wanted to spawn multiple withers in here, and there is a big issue that happens once those withers are spawned inside of here. And now that one's out of the way, we have ourselves a nether star and also a wither head. Now about that big issue that I was talking about, we're going to go ahead and spawn in another wither. However, before this one is able to make his first massive explosion, we are going to quickly put in some more and summon in another wither as well, because the explosion will break the soul sand blocks. And that is of course going to make it a lot harder to summon in multiple withers after that. So we'll go ahead and summon this guy in, and then we'll go ahead and do another one. And at this point, if I had more, I would continue summoning them. However, we're just going to put 2 in there for now. Now, one thing that you should notice is that wither is taking suffocation damage, but watch what happens once the second one is in there. Now we have 2 withers in there, and if you look at their bar, there's nothing happening. They're no longer taking suffocation damage. So this is a big issue if you're relying on suffocation damage in order to kill these guys. However, because I was able to take these over to a testing world, I found that I can kill these guys with a sword, and I'm able to simultaneously hold all these withers in here and just basically keep on attacking them until they die. And I can attack them one at a time, and this really speeds up the process on how fast these withers are going to be able to be farmed. And now that we killed one of the withers, you can see the one that was originally in there is now taking suffocation damage again. And now I got 3 more beacons that we can go ahead and put inside of the shop for sale. Now the shop is now officially open. I ended up making a bunch of compasses and linking them to this lodestone, and then I went around and basically dropped one by on a redstone block at everybody's base just to let them know that the redstone shop is now officially open. Now I am going to continue stocking this thing probably off camera because there is a massive amount of stock to do. However, I did make a few changes in here as well, as you will probably notice. Now on the time lapse you might have noticed that there was a bunch of gold blocks that I used for a lot of the redstone contraptions, but in the end I figured that that was kind of taking away from a lot of the redstone inside of here, and I really wanted your attention to be on the redstone and how it worked. That way people could kind of get ideas from it. Plus the gold really just did not blend in with everything, so I ended up changing that out for all of these black stone blocks here. And I think these look a lot nicer and they don't really distract from everything else. I also changed out all of the chests for these red shulker boxes too to kind of go with the vibes. Plus whenever I need to restock these, then I'll go ahead and pop one out and take it wherever I need to and refill it. I did also build this guy inside of the wall here. Now these are not actual wither skulls, so they're not going to spawn the wither, thankfully, because that would be bad. They are the mob heads that we have on the resource pack, but I thought that it'd be something that really would look kind of cool inside of here, so I went ahead and added that as well. So we'll go ahead and put our beacons in here, and it looks like we already got a cell. So we'll go ahead and grab that diamond block, and we might as well check the rest of the stock while we're here. Oh, looks like we have quite a bit of business. It definitely looks like gunpowder's a hot commodity. I went ahead and cleaned out all of the diamonds inside of all of these shulker boxes here, but the payment chest I put over here, now I really don't mind if they put them inside of the shulker box or if they put them inside of this chest. I actually set this thing up to where it will actually filter out the diamonds. So they could actually put the diamonds inside of the top here and it'll actually filter them all the way down and sort them out. However, as you can see, we have quite a bit of cells already, and enough cells that we don't have enough room for all these diamonds. So I think we'll have to make some space real quick, and we'll go ahead and add some stone to the sorting system as well. There we go, andesite. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and turn these into blocks, and it looks like we got 9 blocks plus 2 diamonds, so that is definitely not bad for our first time cleaning out the shop. Outside of the wallet here, you can see that I actually kept 2 beacons to the side because I'm definitely going to need some beacons as well, and I don't really want to rob them from the shop whenever I need them. So we'll go ahead and put up our diamonds, and we are good to go. So there is a story about Gigi's base over there that I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm not going to go over there because I don't want to ruin any spoilers for Gigi. However, it is pretty comical. You guys know me with pranking, and of course us being on a server with multiple people, multiple friends on here, there is going to be pranking to be had. Well, I went over and I wanted to give everybody 3 wither skulls since I fired up the wither skeleton skull farm. That way everybody kind of gets their first beacon for free, and then they can go fight the wither their own way, and then they can have their beacon and they don't have to pay anything for it. So on Gigi specifically, I ended up taking hers, and I wanted to put it inside of her house and do it to where it was kind of a prank, and I was going to put a wither inside of her house. However, it was going to be a fake wither, and it was not supposed to spawn. See, I'm an old school Minecraft player, and before they had all of this newfangled soul soil, they just had the soul sand, and that's what I've always been accustomed to spawning a wither on. I'll just always grab the soul sand because I know it works, and I didn't really think that the soul soil would spawn the wither. However, they actually updated Bedrock and actually added some sort of parity to it, and yeah, it does. It spawns the wither, and luckily, since I own the server, I was able to very quickly go into the server control panel and run a wither kill command, which I really did not want to. However, I had about 10 seconds to think before her entire base got destroyed, so I ended up popping into there, remoting into there, and running a wither kill command. However, there was still the wither kill blast once the wither died. I don't have footage of this happening because I did not really think that it was going to spawn it. However, I did start recording after the carnage happened, and I felt incredibly horrible about it. However, Gigi on the other hand thought that it was very comical and could not stop laughing. However, with us being on the server, it goes without saying, if something like that happens, we're always going to take care of it and fix it. So I ended up loading up a creative copy and basically rebuilding her entire house exactly the way that it was about 5 minutes before I blew the entire thing apart. So let's skip ahead and take a look at that footage and see what kind of carnage we had. And if you're wondering why there is a ton of water inside of her attic, I guess you'll have to go over and check out her channel and find out what happened with that. So, pranking. Yeah, pranking. We can have a lot of fun with pranking. And most of the time, the pranking goes fine and everything is good. We get a good laugh out of it. And then other times, pranks go wrong. Oopsies. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to bring up a creative copy of the world and do quite a bit of rebuilding. And of course with Gigi, after I ended up blowing up her house, I was nice enough and rebuilt it, but she still kind of gave me a punishment, and that is the book that I am holding. Since you decided to blow up part of my base, I now challenge you. Your challenge is, record all of your next video with a really bad French accent for the first 10 minutes. If you refuse this challenge, then you have to find a skin more girly than mine, and wear it for a week. Have you guys seen Gigi's skin? She has a really girly skin, and I really don't want to, but I don't know French. I don't know anything about French. I don't even know what French people sound like. I've never really paid that much close attention, I guess. I guess I'm gonna have to find some tutorials for really bad French accents. And just like that, we have Gigi's house all back together and built just like it was right before I blew it up. Now, there was a few things that I wanted to go over into the spawn location and show you guys as well. So let's head on over there and I'll show you some of the new things that have popped up. So you might notice a few other things here over in the spawn area, and this is just a little house that Gigi, and I quote, threw together. I wish I could throw something like this together. This thing is absolutely gorgeous, and this was something that she threw together in no time flat, and looks a lot better than half of my builds. However, she was tired of being in a death loop whenever she ended up dying and forgot to hit a bed, so she was spawning out here in an open field. So she decided that she was going to end up putting all of this together and basically making where there is a lot of stuff to where you can get some loaners real quick to get your stuff back, and there's even a pair of wings that you can grab and go and get your stuff back as well. And of course, she is also advertising her Digi-Die boxes, which she is selling as well. We might eventually end up buying one of these because I die probably more than a lot of people should. However, she also did do a really good job over here putting in a graveyard, which I'm sure this thing is going to need to be expanded with everybody dying. However, she seems to have taken up the first lot here. Gigi, an angel that tried to fly without her wings. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that does it. But just the amount of detail that she puts in is just astronomical. I mean, just the little things like this is just things that I don't even think about, like just using the glass as a handle there. It's just incredible, and I absolutely love the look of it. Along with her tree here, she's got this with a picnic underneath it. And community chest. Okay, donate your resources. Here for use of any community builds. Alright. I think a lot of this is for like the future nether hub and stuff like that whenever we all get together and start building the nether hub. Don't look that way. There's spoilers that way. Don't look over there. So what we have here is the members wanted to put together a community XP farm, and what we have here is a portal farm, which is a gold farm. So this thing just absolutely cranks out XP. However, DSP started doing a exterior building on this thing. I think we're going to add more to it to continue to kind of hide the redstone and stuff that's coming out the side. However, what is really interesting is what's going to be on the inside. Now, Raine ended up starting this process, and she originally made it one of her 2 portal gold farms in here. And I don't know if it was a tutorial or what. However, she was basically installing all of this. And I'm like, well, we have enough resources and stuff. Let's go ahead and just make it a 4 portal farm. And I ended up going in here and adding these pistons. That way these portals are not constantly on. Because with these things constantly on, even without them pulsing and flickering on and off, there's still quite a few pigmen that come out of here and come down to the Trident Killer. Now, originally DSP did all of the stuff underneath here for the most part, and he ended up building it for a 2 portal farm before I come in here and ruined all of his plans with the 4 portal design. So after he designed that, he obviously did not design it for 4 portals, so we ended up having to upgrade that as well. And what we ended up doing is putting in the Trident Killer here, which this Trident Killer was originally here. This is my Trident Killer design here. And I'm glad that we use this because this thing has no problem putting up with the pigments. Now, this door here takes us downstairs to where we have done a ton of work in order to basically redesign this whole thing to keep up with this 4 portal farm. And this was actually a project that I did on stream along with a bunch of the other members. So like I mentioned, if you want to see projects like this on stream, Head on over to Twitch and give me a follow, and you'll be able to see a ton of stuff like this, along with being able to interact and pop in and say hello. So basically we have the Trident Killer that is bringing everything out at a quad hopper speed here, going into a massive storage unit there. And then once it's out of the massive storage unit here, we have everything that is being split into two lines going down to dual hopper speed and bringing everything across these sorters. Everything is going to go through over here, and we'll start on this end. We have 5 sorters here that's responsible for pulling out the gold nuggets. We have 5 sorters here which are responsible for pulling out rotten flesh. And then we have 3 sorters for the mob heads, which are the pigment heads, and then 3 sorters for the ingots as well, since both of those are less common than the latter. On the other side over here, it's basically a mirror of the same thing. So these are going to pull out the nuggets, these are going to pull out rotten flesh, mob heads, and the ingots, and so forth. And this entire thing is basically going to send everything else, which is only going to be the golden swords remaining, into a big smelting line up here of blast furnace. And inside of all these blast furnace, we are fueling all of these with lava, and these are going to quickly smelt all of the golden swords that come through here. Now we do need a lot of lava in order to fuel these up, so I put my lava farm here, and I'll probably eventually make this to where there's a toggle to where I can either fill this with lava here, which all of our lava storage is going to be here, and it will fill up all of these chests here. And I'll probably do a toggle to where it will toggle over, and we'll probably have a giant community smelter around this area as well, because I would like to be able to put in my mega smelter somewhere around here. As you guys probably know, this is my lava farm. There's a tutorial on it. Check it out inside of my channel. Links will be down in the description below. It is kind of a longer tutorial, but this is a great design, and it really puts out a ton of lava. So the entire system is automated. All of the sorted gold comes out of here and basically goes into these elevators here, which are dropper elevators, and also all of the stuff that comes out of the furnace also goes into here as well. There is some sorters down here which are responsible for pulling the empty buckets out, because once the lava is done, it's going to drop an empty bucket down inside the system. These will pull it out and basically bring it around through the wall and bring the empty buckets back into this system here, which is what this line here is for, only to be recirculated and reused to collect all of the lava again. So it's basically a huge infinite recirculating system, and it works very, very well. Both of these elevators are going to run at double hopper speed each, bringing up everything into the chest above. And the chest above we will probably eventually expand up here. However, it's really not made for very, very long AFK sessions, and it really doesn't take long at all to fill this up. But as you can see, we already have a bunch of community gold here, a bunch of community nuggets, ingots, and oh, the piglin heads. I don't even know what we're going to do with all of these piglin heads, but we'll figure something out, I suppose. Everything sorts into this lower chest here, and then we have to manually sort it from here. This will probably be changing in the future, that way we have bulk storage. The problem is now is that the bottom section of this is pretty much overbuilt, so now I'm instinctually kind of like, well, let's go ahead and make it an 8 portal farm, but I think we're just going to leave it a 4 portal farm, because this is pretty much ludicrous enough. We can go ahead and stand on both of these pressure plates. The left one is going to turn on the Trident Killer, the right one's going to turn on the portals. We have these lamps here which basically show what's going on. Once the output chest that is over there that I just showed you is full, it will go ahead and shut off the portals above us, and it will go ahead and turn this light on, letting us know that the gold output chest is full. And then this will also have the gold farm portals are active, so whenever the chest gets full, it will basically flip-flop these lights. So this one will go out, this one will go on, and that will basically let you know that it is full. Plus the Trident Killer is not going to have any piglins inside of it. But as you can see, we have a good steady flow of piglins inside of here, dropping down. And I'm not getting any experience, so I need to pick up the tridents, and I'll go ahead and pick those up and throw them back in there. And DSP came up with this pretty cool system. We basically have these pistons that come in and block off all of the piglin. That way we can safely access this. That way we don't die, because these guys are pretty angry at us. And then we'll just go ahead and throw the tridents back inside of here. And now that those are all back inside of there, we can go ahead and close that back up. All those piglins are going to drop down, and it's going to clear them out very, very quickly. But more importantly, now since we have the next wave of them coming, you can see that we are now actually getting experience points. And even at level 78, we are just going to cruise on up in levels, and it really, really is nice being able to get a ton of experience very, very quickly. And this is just from a short moment of running this thing, and as you can see, you pretty much instantly get your gold. This thing is pretty much done elevating all of the gold nuggets into here. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks pretty much of stuff that was just lifted up. So the system has been designed and built to be very, very quick. And of course, you know me with my sense of humor. No piglins are being harmed. This is a piglin washing machine. And there's never a shortage of cursed llamas here. So now to get to the part of what I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wondering about, what happened with the gas prank. Well, I was not online whenever we were recording it. However, I was able to capture it whenever it happened from Monstera's stream. So we're going to check out that footage in just a moment. However, there was a few more pranks that kind of went on after that, and I felt like I would throw these into the video as well because they were really, really comical. And I was on, he was streaming, and I just could not help myself. So check out what happened with the gas prank, and then I hope that you get a good laugh out of the next prank after that.
Didn't stream yesterday. We were like just way too jet. Hello. Y'all saw that, right? That was a ghast. What in the... So I may have pranked literally everyone on the realm before I left. I'm about to find out if that has been retaliated since. Maybe? Okay, maybe it was just one. No, no, no. Look back there. Look back there. I see tentacles. Ah, crap. Someone filled my base with gas. Nice. This is gonna be fun. Oh, fun. Okay. Well, so I may have put a sign up in the marketplace saying that I really needed some gas tiers. I think someone did me a favor. Kinda. Except it's not. Okay. That's like number 6. Come here. I mean, yeah, but they can blow up the rest of my base. There's one chilling back there. I mean, this is certainly one way to provide me with gas tiers. Nope, there's some more. Can I just say that they can look kind of cool floating around my cave? Also, I'm not mad at the gunpowder, but I mean, I don't know. This is a pretty large prank. I hope this is the only one, because like all I did was like, you know, plant some trees, a couple of chickens. So focused on this one, another one's gonna pop up and murk me. Oh, there's several of them. Okay. So 10, 12? How many? Uh-oh. Nope. That's my question, is how long did this prank take? And, like, how long am I just gonna randomly discover gas floating around because they got missed or they escaped like that one did? I mean, this gets me some gas tiers for potions, for sure. Let's go up and take a look and see if we can figure out how they did this. Because it looked like they were coming out of that hole. The lush lake that is to be. Seems like there should be the way Doc did it, there was like a chute going down to a nether portal. Wow. Yeah, so there's a big hole in my base now. And redstone. I didn't leave that there. What's that? I wonder if that's how many they killed in the effort to put 12 of them in my base. It's very nice of them. Oh. I'm glad those counted. Potion of leaping. It's one of the rarest potions because the feet are so hard to get. So I'm gonna have to make a rabbit breeder if I'm gonna have those in stock. Well, this is a teeny village, but at least it has a. What am I trying to say? Twilight, my brain stopped working. What am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? Brewing stand. It has a brewing stand. I don't know what this song is, but it's starting out with Native Hawaiian. I like it. It's pretty. Alright, well I set my respawn while I was out running around, and I know better than to not set my respawn before I go see whatever this is. Okay, surprise time. I'm scared. Dear Sea Monstera, those outside weren't mine. I brought you some friendship chickens. Mine are in this room. Look. Oh, you mother. I knew that's what you were about to do. I knew it. The lag alone. Thank you for all the food. I'm gonna, this was so kind. I'm just gonna live on cooked chicken meat for the next 67 years of my life. No wonder the world lagged out. Ah! Ah! Why? I brought you each like 10 friendship chickens. You... So this is payback for me killing him yesterday, is the only thing I can think.
Well guys, I am going to be going and doing a ton of stocking to get the shop up to par and to get all the stock in there. That way there is no shortage whenever somebody wants to buy anything. So I'm going to cut the video here because there has already been a excess of recording footage and we are about out of video time. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you enjoyed all of the prankage that was going on as well. If you have any idea for any future pranks to get these guys back, because let's be honest, it's not going to quit anytime soon. We are just probably going to get worse and worse with all the pranks going on and probably destroy more stuff. So if you have any idea for any pranks, drop them down inside the comments below and I will strongly consider them. Until next time guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.